Await no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I am your host, Joseph. Alongside me, we have a special guest. Like 2 weeks ago, we had Spider-Man come on in for pimping out Spider-Man, the game coming September 7th, only PlayStation. Now we have Kratos' younger brother, is it, sir?
Yes, sir.
And you are a pacifist, unlike your brother?
I am. Unlike my brother Kratos, who loves violence.
Oh,
I was exiled at a very young age. All I wanted to do was to give Kratos a hug because I felt like he needed one.
Yeah.
And he sent me away a long way without any means of getting back.
Oh, man.
But I've grown up. I've gotten... what's the word I'm looking for? Not street smart, because we don't have streets.
That's true.
I don't know. God smart? I'm here. I figured out a computer. I'm here.
I figured out the internet.
I'm here.
You know what? If Kyle was here, I'd tell him, we keep on doing these visual gags for an audio podcast. But I love it. I love it so much. And so with that, I have to first pimp out our Patreon, patreon.com/makeusbetter, where you guys and gang week in, week out, make us better all the time. Seriously, the help, the generosity has been amazing. I want to give a special thanks to our platinum executive producer, Corey Hicks, our new platinum executive producer, Mr. Moody, our gold executive producer, Sheldon Benedict, our gentleman and gentlelady producers, Dude427, Martini Jean, Bedlow Beyond, Aaron Doherty, David Ray, Jesse Armstrong, James Johnson, Nick Militia, and our newest executive, Joel Brooks. Welcome aboard. So with that, again, here we are. It's God of War week. It's been pretty crazy. And we finally got, someone, of course, as always, we book our guests. You know what I'm saying? Like if something's happening, like last week was Spider-Man, now we have the pacifist brother who hates violence, Kratos here.
Right.
God of War came out, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually this part of the show, we talk about what we've been playing, but that's been apparent. It's God of War.
Of course.
So I thought instead, let's do a spoiler-free impressions of God of War. And so right? Yeah. Pacifist brother.
Yeah.
That looks exactly like Kyle. It's very strange. What were your thoughts?
I've actually gotten inspiration from his beard.
Oh.
So I make myself up to look like him. I love him so much.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
He's
and
a role
you
model.
also sound identical as well. It's crazy.
I'm trying to take over his life. I'm his doppelganger.
Oh man. Okay, so you might be a pacifist, but you're kind of giving me.
I've been away for so long, Joe.
So real talk here before we even begin this dumpster fire of a show. Mm-hmm. We did this before, right? I figured out, I think, what the problem is. I do this on a MacBook Pro, and everybody's already like, oh my God, wow. And so when I record, and we're doing Skype at the same time, the processor overheats, and I think the wireless card has to be somewhere close, and I think that's why we get the lag. So next week, I'm going to be putting it into our PC, and I shouldn't get the lag anymore. It's going to be fantastic. Now, with that said...
Yeah, so far so good on this one.
Yeah, I know Kyle's impressions going into it, but since we have this special guest with us, what were your expectations going into this God of War?
Well, hearing all the stories of my brother and what he did with Ares and Zeus and stuff, I was already kind of... I was wary to jump into this franchise like this.
Right.
I know Kyle loves the games. Kyle loves God of War. He thinks they're fantastic. Level, like the set pieces in the past God of War franchises are fantastic. They make you feel like you're doing legendary, heroic things every minute of that game. But for me, not having access to any sort of technology or play games, just here
pretty fast.
Well, I had a lot of time on my hands.
It's true.
Hearing the stories of my brother and how violent he is, I was a little worried about if they were going to lean heavily into that for this one, and hopefully my brother learned from his mistakes.
Okay.
And he's not so angry all the time.
Yeah.
And he actually has some character development.
All right.
So I was looking forward to see some change.
And I am actually quite the opposite. Walking into this, you guys know, I'm not a fan of God of War, the games or the series. I feel like Kratos is a bit of a prick. I root against him just because he's that much of an asshole. And hey, listen, you have the right to be a dick. Fine. But you're like a dick all the time.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, you sound like a nice chap. I mean, a little weird that you're imitating, our good friend Kyle a little bit too well. But
I might actually finish the rest of the show as Kyle, if you don't mind.
I mean, sure.
To practice. Like, I'm going to practice.
Honestly, it'd be easier for me.
Yeah, sure. It'd be easier for me, too.
So, Doppelganger Kyle, I was pumped for this one because Cory, the creative director, Cory Barlog, he kind of said all the complaints about this game that I had, right? Like Kratos is one note, things need to be more mature here. There needs to be some type of, I guess, it needs to get grounded. And so coming into this game, though I've never played a God of War, I was excited because of what I was hearing. And so with that, I want to talk to you about combat first.
Sure.
How do you feel as or from stories told, a seasoned player of God of War? Is this combat the best it's been? Is it, I mean, of course it's different, but in what ways?
Yeah. So I much prefer the way the combat works in this one from any of the other games. The other games was very much button mashing.
Yeah.
Which, if you've ever played a game like that before, it doesn't even have to be God of War. It gets old real fast. Very repetitive. Sure, there are combos in the game, but as long as you're hitting them with the light attack over and over again or heavy, and you don't really need to employ strategy into the older games. This one, you got to think a little bit.
Okay.
And you have the added element of being able to throw your weapon, which is one of the coolest things I think I've ever played in a game.
Holy shit.
And when you call that axe back,
yeah.
No matter how... I didn't tell you this on our last attempt, but there were times in the game where I'm like on a cliff or something, and I just see how far I could throw the axe.
Yeah.
And then try to call it back and see it come all the way back to my hand. Oh, it's so satisfying.
There was one point in the game where I was playing it and I forgot to recall the axe. And I was just like, oh shit. Like, I'm literally towards the end of this level. I was like, I ought to recall this axe.
Yeah.
And then it's actually taking time. Like, it's actually taking a few seconds. I kind of felt like in Thor Ragnarok, right? Where he's trying to call the hammer. He's like, give me a minute. And then all I hear is like the axe breaking through just walls and shit. So it's like, dun, dun, dun. And then it has this awesome sounds like doosh in your hand. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. This is fantastic. So you're a fan of the combat?
I love it. The way the skills work, I think is great. Yes. I love the ability to what's the word I'm looking for? Equip different skills depending on what you're feeling or what kind of fighting you're doing.
Yeah, and what you kind of like, though there is a set way to play. Like the one thing that I really do enjoy about the combat is most of the time they're not throwing enemies at you just to throw waves of enemies at you, right? Yep. It's kind of like the reason why I hated Sea of Thieves so much was they just threw enemies at you because they knew 5 enemies were going to be a little bit difficult with all these plane attacks. For God of War, it's actually a mixture of melee combat between your fists and your axe. Some enemies will be immune to your axe, so you have to use your fists. Some enemies are weaker to you throwing your axe at them. Some of them are you deal critical damage to them if you're doing elemental runic damage to them.
Yeah.
And when you find that mixture, that blend, in the combat, it makes for an amazing experience.
And there are even some encounters where they'll put a decent mix of different types.
Yeah.
Where you have to be wary of aerial enemies that are in the air, combining with the ground type. Yeah, and you have to decide which one you're taking out first, because if you don't take out one, the other one's going to affect it.
And it's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so awesome, because when you're switching on and off and you're constantly doing stuff, it feels so rewarding. And when you get into a combat situation and they don't even touch you once, you feel like you are God. And
one of my favorite things is they tell you very early on, I think in the tutorial stuff, like, use your kick when you're near a cliff to kick them off the edge. Because like you could just kick enemies off the edge and watch them plummet to their death. And that's so satisfying.
And the one thing we haven't even touched on is Atreus.
Oh, he's probably one of my favorite parts when you keep playing the game. Early on, I barely used him. I was like, I'm Kratos. I'm going to take care of the situation by myself. He can yell at me all he wants. But there's a certain point in the game where you have to. And it requires you to rethink how you approach combat encounters.
And Atreus, with just using one button, you command him with square, is so awesome, because he's your ranged attack, right? When you're not throwing your axe, he's your ranged weapon. And in the beginning, that's just all he does. He's just a little damage over time, a little DPS. And then over time, with the arrows and weapons he unlocks, not weapons, arrows he unlocks, he CCs, he crowd controls, right? He does AoE damage, or area of effect damage, which, holy shit, the murder of crows, guys, just upgrade that shit to 3. You're gonna be set. It's amazing. He does stuns. He's so useful, and it is the first time in a video game where a companion character does not feel like a companion character. They feel like an asset. Like, there's something you have to use, and he's not a dumb idiot.
No, he's not. Like, one of my favorite things he does, other than just shooting people, to either get that stun gauge up to a point where you can do the thing that Kratos always does, the visceral take apart enemy, which are awesome. I try to do one for every single different type of enemy to see what it looks like. But there's one skill that you can unlock for Atreus where he, like, climbs on enemies' backs. And he kind of holds them there for you, so you can just unload on them. And
there's a combo you can unlock later that when you do when you do that, when he's like putting them in a sleeper and you hit them, he'll actually jump off the guy and then shoot 2 arrows at him.
Yeah,
and you guys have these combos. The combat is so fucking good. We can literally spend 40 minutes talking about the combat.
But when we first saw Atreus, I was worried he was going to be annoying and he'd just be following along the whole way and complaining and not do anything, much like a escort mission the whole way through.
It does not feel like that one.
He is his own fully fleshed character who helps out every single step of the way, and it just elevates the game to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And like there are parts where like you guys aren't with each other, like in the beginning of the game, and I'm like, I miss you, buddy. Right? Like, no spoilers, but like, you know, yeah, it's just like, it's like, oh my god, where's my other hat? It was strange. So with that, let's talk about the world. Let's talk about the sights and the sounds. Holy shit, it's awesome.
It's amazing. Because like playing the other God of Wars, it was very linear. Yeah. You go from one spot, there's no real exploring to be had. This one I am lost in when I get to a new area.
Every time you unlock a different section of the map, they're like, you want to continue the story? I'm like, give me 40 minutes. And there's these side missions that these characters, we will not talk about them. We're only going to talk about Atreus and Kratos because they're fucking excellent too. But like, there's these side missions that they have, like, we were talking about it, like, after the podcast last night, when that didn't go that well. We were like, oh my god, I just got to one part and it's amazing. You know, like, no spoilers, but it's great. Everything is in place, and it's all structured, to me, similarly to Ocarina of Time, where it's more like a hub world, and things branch off, but it's so so amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
All the side missions could clearly be part of the main story path.
Oh, sure.
They're so fleshed out, and they're not typical side missions where it's like, hey, go collect these things and bring them back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there isn't one of those in this game, but the voice acting, because everything's voice acted.
Yep.
Oh, the voice acting of each side mission person or thing that happens, it to me feels like it belongs in the main story path. It's
To me, even when you're traveling, I always forgot to mention this, and then we'll go to the story. But like, you're on a boat most of the time.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of a lake, and it's so beautiful. Like it gives you these lulls in between where Atreus and Kratos are just having these dialogues together while you're, and they're so good that like you don't want to get off your ship when you're near an objective.
I've spent plenty of times just waiting on the shore instead of pressing circle to bank on it, just so I can hear the end of the conversation.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so, any final thoughts when it comes to the world, Kyle?
I mean, just looking, just looking around the world, like it makes me wish I had a PS4 Pro and a 4K TV.
Oh, like
it's like you do, yeah. Because it's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. It is. There's some really colorful parts of this game, which makes me envy you because you do have that 4K setup.
I am playing still on 1080p though. So
okay.
We'll get to that later. Yeah.
Sure. But the world's fantastic. It's amazing.
With that, let's get to the story. Let's get to that one camera shot everybody talks about.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right.
I get emotional thinking about it, Kyle.
Yeah.
To me, the camera is insane. This is nuts, right? Like I do not hit a loading screen unless I die.
Yeah.
There's this single shot. There's no wipes. There's no fade ins, fade outs, anything. It's just a constant flow of this camera. And it makes for this storytelling that's grounded, right? They can't go back to the past and foreshadow. You know, they can't tell you what, Athena or Zeus did to Kratos, right? It's all, you don't even know what the mother looks like in this game.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's such a beautiful experience. What do you think about the camera?
I think there's, if you've obviously you listen to more podcasts or you watch YouTube channels reviewing games and stuff, you've all heard them rave about it for the most part, and it's mind-boggling to me that they had this vision of the one camera shot for the entire game, and for there not to be any loading screens or like a lot of slowdown when you're entering new areas is crazy. I don't know how they did it, but when the game wants you to look at something important, it zooms in and it makes you focus on it. You can't be moving the camera around in those parts because it's telling you, hey, this is important. Pay attention.
Yes.
And when it doesn't do that and you still have some control over the camera, like when you look up like at the sky or something, Kratos actually looks up at the sky. He's not just standing there like a character in a game world looking dead straight. Yeah. You look up, Kratos looks up, you look down, he looks down. I was trying to see the look on his face just to see like his emotions like when he's talking. But when I move the camera, he's following where I'm putting the camera. So it's genius.
And so let's get to Kratos and emotions because he was so one note. And to me, the first 5 minutes, he is incredibly fleshed out. He has emotions. He is stoic. He's carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah.
He is a person who is,
he's seen some shit.
Yeah, he's seen some shit. He's always angry. Yeah. He has this responsibility, though. It is us first, everyone else second. It's this guilt of what he did and who he is that he doesn't want for Atreus. And there's like an awesome line that he's, oh my God, so good. But like their relationship as well. So like Kratos, again, fleshed out, amazing character.
Yep.
Coming from this one note, annoying, yelling all the time. Kratos he's actually rather like soft spoken. Like he's just like, when the rage comes out, you understand. But he's very short spoken. He's he's not yelling unless he really has to, which is great. What are your thoughts on Kratos?
I think what you said is I echo the same feelings. But you can tell he's still learning how to communicate with other people, especially a loved one with Atreus. Because like you said, like when he gets angry, he snaps and you see the old Kratos in him. But then he's realizing like, wait, this is my lover's son. This is our son. Yeah. I need to pull it back and use this as like a teaching moment. The whole game so far, I'm close, I feel. Even though you told me in Messenger, like, I'm not even scratching the surface yet.
Yeah.
But, like, the whole game, Kratos is using it as a teaching moment. And to go back to what you said about the boat rides, the moments between Kratos and Atreus in those boat rides are some of the most special moments in the game.
Yeah. And
going back to those conversations, they're fantastic.
When we talk about Atreus, he's totally different than Kratos.
Oh, totally different.
He's emotional. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's smart. He knows. Kratos is an outsider. Atreus is someone born into the culture, knows the stories, knows the politics to a certain degree. Kratos doesn't know any of it. Yeah. And, he is, and I love this, though he's innocent, which, again, Kratos very much lacks. And even throughout the story, them killing he's still an innocent kid. He's incredibly intelligent. And, God, what are your thoughts on Atreus?
I like how they wrote Atreus because he acts like a kid.
Yeah.
He's constantly asking questions, which is what kids do.
Yeah.
And all he wants is approval of Kratos. And that's what it comes down to. And he will do everything and anything to show Kratos that he can handle it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying really hard not to spoil anything, because the story is so special between those two. You have to experience it. But yeah. I just love the way they wrote Atreus like a real kid. And it's not like the fake,
like a real kid too.
Exactly. It's not like the fake movie version of like a teenager, young kid who clearly have not had those life experiences. You can tell Atreus has been through some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And so with that, is there anything I missed before we talk about our overall thoughts?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I'll just go ahead with my overall thoughts. It's going to be really hard for any game this year to beat it for my game of the year. I know that's crazy because there's a lot of year left and there's a lot of big games coming out.
Spider-Man.
Do
we need to
Red
get Spider-Man
Dead
in here?
Oh, I mean, but we got Red Dead too. Maybe Kingdom Hearts. They keep saying it's this year, so there's a lot of big Detroit in May next month.
Yeah,
it's a month to today actually. So there's a lot of big games coming out, but it's a game where when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. Constantly. I want to learn more about the Norse mythology because of this game. I want to go home and immediately turn on my PlayStation to play.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since a game has grabbed me like this.
Yeah. For me, my final thoughts. First off, there's boss fights. We didn't talk about them on purpose.
Yeah.
They're fucking a thing of wonder. So coming into this, not caring about God of War, not caring about Kratos as a character, they didn't just meet my expectations, they excelled. Thinking about this game, for the first 3 hours, I'm like, this game's very good. It's not the best game I ever played. But there's like this certain moment where it clicked. And a few hours in, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I had the realization, like, Kratos is my dad. Like we talked about this previously, like my dad's a stoic individual. My dad's sacrifice. I'm not saying he's a Greek god level of individual, but he like my dad fell in love with a woman. He moved across a continent, across an ocean to be with her, learned the language, learned how to read and write all by himself by watching John Wayne movies. And as a kid, I had this same disconnect with him. And, there's a part where, like, Atreus and I have the same argument between my father and Kratos that, like, it's like, this is the same argument that we've had, just in way different contexts.
Yeah.
And so, like, to me, I was getting emotional at the little things. Yeah. The little arguments, the I'm a nerd, my dad is into sports. Like, we couldn't be more different.
More opposite.
But, like, we have that unconditional love for each other. Like, there's no doubt about it. These two love each other. And there's this failure to connect that we see with Kratos and his son. Like, I see with my dad and me at times. And it fucking kills me inside. There are several scenes where I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about him. So when I think about this game, and I think about games that define a generation, I'm thinking of games like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, thinking about games like The Witcher 3, and I think about God of War, and I think about my favorite games, The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption, these two games that I hold so high. And maybe it's because this game just came out and I'm so hyped. Not to say that this game's perfect, but we didn't talk about anything we didn't like. Yeah, maybe the camera's a little bit too close, but other than that, and the text may be a little bit too small.
Well, that's the thing. Until I figured out there's an option in the game where you can up the text size to a normal level, and that opened it up. Because like you, I was squinting at the screen to read the small text in the menus. And then someone on Twitter was like, oh, no, you can go to the accessibility option. And there's a whole thing, make the text bigger. And so I just made it as big as it went.
And so for me, like, when we think about, like coming into this game, I did not think this would be my favorite game of all time. Mm-hmm. This game is now my favorite game of all time because though there are moments with The Last of Us and Red Dead that get me choked up and get me emotional, they've never brought me to this point. And it's like Cory Barlog was in the room with a pen and a paper watching me and my dad try to communicate with each other for 17 years. Mm-hmm. You can't get that. And to me, it's I get it. Like, I hyped it. I understand. This is not going to be everybody's favorite game of all time, but fuck it, it's mine. So God of War, you own a PlayStation? Go out there and play it.
Yeah, what are you doing? Stop listening to this. Go get it.
Yeah.
We'll still be here. Go get the game.
Actually, you can listen to us while you drive.
On the way. Yeah.
So with that, we talked about God of War for almost 30 minutes.
Oh, it deserves... Also, real quick, I'm so happy that I went on Media Blackout for this.
Yeah?
Because it's making it so much better. I'm doing the same thing for Spider-Man. I'm staying far away from it, so... I
am. Well, not in this episode, you're not. But same like Infinity War, I have only watched 2 trailers, and So and if anybody fucking spoils that shit, I will beat the shit out of you.
We're so close, Joe. We're so close.
I'm so far, and maybe when you're listening to this, I already watched it. And Jon Snow dies anyway. So. With that said, God of War news. God of War debuts #1 on the UK charts. The second biggest launch this year, right behind Far Cry 5.
Which was not that long ago.
Not that long ago, which is fucking awesome. It's crazy. It's stellar. And I just want to note that there's no physical numbers. That's all we know is that it's #1. We also know that it is the best opening for a God of War in the franchise since God of War 3. And I would also like to just point this out. A lot of people are trying to make this news in the headlines, but oh no, my connector just popped out. Anyway, a lot of people would like to try to make this a headline. God of War was second in Japan. Labo actually beat it. It took the number 1 spot and the number 3. Congratulations, Nintendo. Pat yourself on the back. And a lot of people are like, the list just shows you, God of War maybe not selling as well. Guys, it's a Western style action game with RPG elements based on a Western, mythology. If you thought this was going to sell well, in fact, numbers actually show that this is the best launch for God of War in Japan. So I just want to clear that up. And then
plus, it's a brand new Nintendo thing in Japan.
Yeah,
like there's no way I was going to beat that out.
Come on. I mean, they still sell the Vita there, for Christ's sakes. Like, it's... I'm sorry. Rip. With that said, though, there was an emotional video by Cory Barlog, the creative director of God of War, showing him literally break down in tears as he read the review scores for this game. And I wanted to ask you a question, Kyle, Krytos, which is, why? Why do this?
Why record yourself?
Yeah, why in such a vulnerable state record yourself breaking down and crying and putting it on the internet?
I think his intention was to show, especially gamers in general, it's okay to feel emotions. It was something that you've worked really hard on for such a long time.
Yeah.
To be able to see the fruits of your labor come to fruition. And to play devil's advocate, the scores could have been awful.
Oh yeah,
he could have looked at those first, and those would have been tears of a different kind. But the tears that we got, the happy, you can see the weight on his shoulders just lift.
The anxiety, like talking about this game, you saw how anxious he was. Yeah, because when people are like, I can't jump in God of War, they ruined it, and like,
at PSX when he was on stage with everybody. I could tell he was very much tense. He just wanted to get the game out.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was like weighing on him. But it was good to see. I'm very happy he did this video because it shows to me that the developers I love so much, it's good to know that they're actually good human beings as well.
Yeah.
And that they deserve this. And I love that he did it.
And they're people too.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just read an article Devolver got in a bit of like PR trouble because they said gamers are assholes, and we are. Like, listen, I get it. I could be a little blunt sometimes, but like, I like to fake start beef. I'm trying to get Drake on both me, the trophy room, and the Xbox Drive, and you don't get it by saying nice things to each other. But with that said, I enjoy my Xbox. I enjoy my Nintendo Switch. I just love PlayStation a little bit more than them. And it doesn't even mean that I can't see or that I'm a fanboy for PlayStation. We here admit when they're wrong all the time. Guess what? They're wrong on crossplay, right? Like, they are behind when it comes to I can't return anything digital. There's this us and them mentality made by the generation of Super Nintendo and Genesis that one side has to be better, that I bought a piece of plastic, right? And so ergo this has to be, I have to justify this because I have, I have these emotions I carry with this controller. But guess what? They have faults. This controller is already defective. Yeah, like it, the analog stick doesn't work right on it. It sticks. So like we all have problems. Xbox, guess what? They don't have any good exclusives. Yeah, let's be honest with each other. They just fucking don't. But guess what? They have great services. Guess what? Sony has great games, but has shitty services. We can't even change our name.
Yeah.
And it is so brave for Cory to go ahead and at his most vulnerable, share it with us. Because for the love of God, there's a person out there who poured years into this game. Yeah. Fucking years of his life he'll never get back because he had a vision for something. And we have a guy here who constantly, a troll, and I'll acknowledge him for this one moment. Every single PlayStation video I make, single player games are only for fucking losers, Xbox is the way to go, and blah, 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 blah. Like, you're not a gamer, and you're not an Xbox gamer, and they don't owe you anything. Neither does Sony. and you don't represent what being a gamer is all about, which is playing fucking games, and not matter what platform it's on. And to hear someone be so blatantly fucking ignorant, it aggravates me, because look at this guy. 5 years of his life. Like, just like in Sea of Thieves, I don't fucking like Sea of Thieves, but I can appreciate the hard work that went in. I'm not going to tell that those devs are lazy or whatever, and maybe some shady shit went on, but you could see the hard work in their eyes when, when they put out a video and they're pale white, they look like they haven't slept in days, and they're like, here's the problem with Sea of Thieves, and here's why we're going to try to tell it to you in X, A, B, C, and D. That's, developers are fucking people too. Yeah,
and with that video with Cory, it's something. It's hard for us to not hard, but it's easiest for us to forget that it wasn't just him making the game. There are hundreds of people who, just like him, poured hundreds of thousands of hours into making this game, and if on that video, what I'm reading into is he now has a sense of relief because he didn't waste their time. He now doesn't have to worry about
their jobs,
at least for right now. Because they work their asses off, and it shows. And if it fails, it's kind of on him, because he was the director. He's the one that led them in this vision.
And it's not to say that we don't have a right to criticize them, but like to give them death threats, guys. Like to be so just blatantly ignorant about it. Like, we're gonna talk about Destiny in a minute, and I don't have the best words to say for it.
And yes, this is a PlayStation podcast.
Yeah,
but the shit that the employees of Xbox are getting, because they are choosing to stream God of War, or they're saying that they're excited to play God of War, and these Xbox fans are cursing at them and saying, how dare you? They don't owe you anything. They're allowed to enjoy the medium. It's the same argument that I find that I yell at people about with the Marvel versus DC. If one is good, the other side is going to try to match it. Yeah. And in the end, who wins? We do.
Yeah.
So
because whether one side gets it wrong or one side gets it right, they're both taking notes.
Yes, 100%. Like, I guarantee you, most of the developers now are taking notes on that one camera shot of God of War.
Oh yeah, someone's getting inspired today.
Absolutely.
So some person's playing a video game and they're getting inspired to do whatever it is, and maybe that's make their own game, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, let's talk about it. IGN, for just a brief moment here, they put out a tweet and an Instagram picture of, like, those comparing shots between PlayStation and Xbox One when it came to the resolution, and when we had the more powerful console, and people like to brag, look how better PlayStation is, but now that the X is on the other, is more powerful, people are like, well, we have the games, right? It's funny how that works. So here's the deal. They had a shot by shot slide of God of War on the PlayStation. It looks beautiful, and then it goes Xbox, and it's black. And people got a little offended. Xbox players got a little offended. Even I did. I thought that was a stupid joke. It's a joke, but it didn't land. And some executives over at Microsoft tweeted it out and go, really? Like, is that what we're doing, IGN? It's not very classy. And a lot of people go, well, Xbox, or these Xbox fanboys are overreacting. Right? They're overreacting, and truth hurts. Your games suck. Kyle, what are your thoughts on this? Is this just a lame joke? IGN, Ryan McCaffrey, the heads over team at IGN, apologized, took it down ASAP. Are people overreacting? Take a joke, lol, or is this a problem, and why?
I feel it's a slight overreaction.
Yeah.
It is a joke. It's not a great joke.
Yeah.
Because it's very trolly.
Yeah.
And for a one of the biggest, if not the biggest, video game news outlets out there, a trolly joke like that is not a good look for you as a company.
Right.
So yeah, but then again, it is a joke. So But they should have done it in the first place.
Yeah, so the way I see it is like, listen, if this ruined your day, there's a therapist you can call. So yeah, it is a joke. Let's not get too, as the kids say, butthurt about it. But the reason why this is a big deal is IGN, yeah, you are the biggest site for games. You're supposed to be agnostic when it comes to game consoles or just everything, games in general. And by this, let's be honest, this is a joke I would have pulled. Right, this is a tweet the trophy room should have done, so we'll take credit for it.
Yeah.
This is for someone who is PlayStation focused. So to me, it kind of deviates from what you're about as a company, which is just all video games, and they're all great. So let's come together. And by doing that, it does slight your image a little bit, and it makes you look a little small. And so for me, I understand. And I need to clarify, the Xbox, leads weren't upset. They didn't demand it to be taken down. A lot of people like to put their tinfoil hats on. I bet they did this. I bet there was calls. Guys, that's not how this ever works. And if you think that's how it works, it's not. It's not. I know firsthand that's not what happened. Phil Spencer did not call Ryan McCaffrey, which then called, Pear to say, take this down. That's not how it works. Okay. Not even a little bit. No. But it is something that they go, really? And yeah, you have a right, because you give IGN exclusive coverage on your games like you did with Sea of Thieves. You give them, free copies to your games. You fly them out to your events, and to be slighted like that. Let's just imagine if it was PlayStation. We'd all be butthurt right now.
Yeah.
So let's come together on this. The trophy room, we love all consoles. We just love PlayStation a little bit more.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Be nice to each other, for the love of God. With that said, though, are we ready to get angry?
I'm always ready for a good angry rant.
Destiny 2's DLC, The Warmind, got announced yesterday. Joseph wasted 60 minutes of his life, 60 minutes he'll never get back, watching the live stream announcement of Destiny 2, The Warmind. Now, when Destiny 2 was announced, they said we're going to new locations, we'll be fighting new enemies, we'll be getting new cool swag. Destiny's new game mode has a new location. It's on Mars. You go, okay, they said location, not planet, but it's not what we thought. They're, come on, give a little love to Pluto or somewhere. Let's go somewhere else. We've been to Mars several times. We have new enemies, guys, gang, because Destiny 2 did not have any new enemies. They just had all the enemies from all the previous expansions there and dropped off. Don't count those Cabal Shield guys. Come on. That's stretching it. These new enemy, guess what we're fighting this time? Kaitos?
I don't know. Could it be the Hive?
It's Frozen Hive.
Yeah.
We have a new mode. Do you think it's going to be a new raid, Kyle?
I would imagine so for new DLC.
It's a public event horde mode.
Oh, okay.
And so the summary of this DLC goes like this.
I love this opening line, by the way.
Yeah?
I made me chuckle.
Okay, all right, let's do it. Rasputin has woken up from a long slumber. He has called down a bunch of Warsat satellites, which have cracked open polar ice caps on Mars and unleashed, Kyle, you're breaking me here, a whole bunch of frozen hive. This comes out of Kotaku. This is their words. You'll have to fight those hive on a new Mars destination that goes live with Warmind. One of the main features Bungie showed off today was Escalation Protocol, a horde mode that sort of looks like a cross between Destiny's Prison of Elders and the Court of Onyx. This public event is set on the Mars area, and it tasks players with shooting through waves of enemies before time expires. These will also include rotating bosses with different tasks, like destroy all them crystals, and even a mode specific weapons, like a sweet-looking spear called the Valkyrie that you can hurl at enemies for 20 seconds. All right. Last episode, we talked about how I'm done with it, man. And this new DLC, $24.99. Did this entice us to go back?
No. When your opening line of what this mode it entails is about Rasputin and satellites crashing and breaking polar ice caps, your whole game is based on fighting alien races. Why does Rasputin have any part in this?
Well, okay, so Rasputin is the most powerful weapon in the galaxy.
Oh, then I take that back. I was thinking the old Russian dude from history books.
Well, the reason why he's called Rasputin is because he's just so hard to kill in layman's terms. And just
that's
like
on me then. That's on me. I apologize.
So Rasputin is important, but how these huge satellites break polar ice caps, we'll have to see. We're going to get some new characters, maybe some brief story here or there, but I'll be honest, I'm not going back. Nah. Yeah.
Nope. I won't.
To me, I mean, I bought that limited. I was promised things. Those things never came. Again, I get it. The Destiny devs, they understand. I think this was way before, everybody got pissed off about, the loot box situation. So I think maybe, and hopefully next expansion, they're willing to bring us back. But with this news, I'm not. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's so many great games in the last month that have been put out that I need to spend more time with. And if this is your big sell as to like, hey, come back, much like the Shadow of War news we did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's not really enticing me to put your game in and to sink a couple more hours in.
Yep. It sucks. I love Destiny. Everybody, I love Bungie. I just want them to do good things. Again, I'm frustrated. Now, am I writing, Luke Smith a death threat? No. Am I going to throw a mean tweet at him? No. Because he doesn't deserve it.
Yep.
Doesn't. Just, I'm not going to play it, and hopefully they'll give me something that's worth playing. But right now, it's not. To me. I want to know what you guys think. Let us know somewhere, hopefully YouTube comment section. With that said, remember when you said you're going to go media quiet on Spider-Man?
And it's okay because I did see this.
Okay,
so
good,
it's all right.
So Spider-Man's Avengers 4 suit or Infinity War suit is going to be a pre-order bonus. Spider-Man Infinity War suit, the Iron Spider suit, will be able to be pre-ordered right now, uno momento. This comes from Polygon. Holy crap, this suit looks so awesome.
It's so cool.
It's so fucking cool, dude. And like they don't show you fighting. They just show you swinging through New York. First off, how you get this suit is you're swiping through your phone. You're like, oh, this sounds cool. You get it. And then you're swinging through, dude. It's so awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh my god, I'm so ready for Spider-Man, dude. This gets me.
I don't know if anything with the different suits.
Okay.
But will the different suits have different abilities or attributes to them?
Yes. So I'm thinking the reason why they didn't show any combat is I think you're going to be fighting with the not a spoiler for Infinity War. Read a fucking comic. It's been there for years. The Iron Spider arms that shoot fucking laser beams. So I'm on board. This is fucking awesome. My thought to you, Kyle, it will just poke at this for a second.
Sure.
Spider-Man, where do you think it's going to fall in Metacritic?
Ooh.
Real fast.
Probably close to 90.
I think it's going to be mid 80s. I have so much faith in Insomniac. They make such great content. So
I think the highlight for that would be like the swinging through the city and exploration will be top notch.
The PlayStation Plus games of the month, let's just swing on by to this, is Beyond Two Souls for the PlayStation 4, Rayman Legends for the PlayStation 4, super excited, Risen 3, Titan Lords for the PlayStation 3, Eat 'em All for the PlayStation 3, King Oddball Vita, and it's cross-buy with PlayStation 3 and 4, and Firmus for the PlayStation Vita. What do you think about these games?
I think it's a good idea to get a Quantic Dream game on Plus for the month when Detroit comes out.
Yeah.
Rayman Legends is awesome. That's a game that I've not played, but I've always wanted to. So hell yes, I'm excited for. And then the other ones are just throwaway. But
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
And Kyle, these are 2 stories that you gave me before the show started. A, Detroit Become Human has gone gold. B, Detroit Become Human has a demo out right now you could get your hands on next week. We'll do impressions on that. I promise you they won't be 30 minutes long. But we didn't get to that news. Instead, we get a headline from Kotaku saying and announcing that Quantic Dreams, the developer of Detroit Become Human, is suing the French publication Le Monde. It sounds like lemon, so
It
French. You French people out there, you got to fix your language. I'm just saying. So, Mike France, great again. So, about a month or 2 ago, we talked about this possible sexual harassment claims, racism claims by anonymous members, ex-members of Quantic Dreams through this publication Le Monde in France. And the accusations, which these are all alleged, if true, that sucks, and I wouldn't buy this game. With that said, the way that David Cage has gone about it is very adamant and furious on the point that none of this is true, and they threaten legal action. Now it looks like out of Kotaku, both sides have confirmed, Quantic Dreams is suing this French publication because if they're wrong, and I want to know what you think about this. If Le Monde is wrong, they have done permanent damage to Quantic Dreams. There are people that are not going to even give this game, night or day because of these accusations. And hey, if that's your prerogative, that's your prerogative. I'm even somewhat torn if I even want to pick up this game if these accusations are true. The point is, though, they're alleged, so I can't base it off of public opinion. So I want to know what you think, Kyle. And I'm thinking, and I'm guessing you hate violence. You also must hate all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah, of course. All that shit is awful.
Yeah.
But like, David Cage didn't do himself any favors with their response to those accusations.
Right.
I hated those when I first read them because it was very much like, well, I'm friends with a black guy, or like, there's plenty of women here. We want to do that. That's what it sounded like to me. So I hated those.
It's kind of like Kanye West with the MAGA hat, right?
Oh, yes. It's 100% that. But like you said, I think it's sullied the public image of Quantic Dream. Yeah. Whether if it's true, of course it's sullied. But if it's not true, then it's done some pretty big damage. Yeah. So I'm very interested to hear what happens with it.
Yeah, I want to see where this goes. I really do. I'm very interested to see where this goes.
And here's a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
If they settle out of court,
sure,
how would that look to you?
Oh, definitely. If they settled, it depends on who's paying who, right? So if Le Monde's settling, Le Monde is downright wrong. But I don't think there's going to be a settlement. I think there's going to be an outright hearing on it. Okay. Because the way David Cage has presented his case, I got a black friend and I knew a lesbian once. I mean, if he brings that up in court, I don't think it's going to land. But if he has actually proving, I'm learning all about defamation right now in this class. If they're able to prove Le Monde wrong, it's a huge hit towards that credibility. A lot is on the line for both sides. Because Le Monde's credibility is on the line, and so is Quantic Dreams' credibility is on the line. So it's a whole lot of things. Our last bit of news is actually a rumor, and it's about Call of Duty. And it goes a little something like this. Single player is dead. Long live Battle Royale. Rumor has it the latest Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will have no single player campaign. Instead, it will be replaced with Battle Royale mode. Kyle, right off the bat, this news hit like a fucking landmine last week. Simmer down a little bit. Let me get your thoughts on this. What do you think about these rumors?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm a little worried, to be honest. Even though I don't hardcore play Call of Duty every year, right. I enjoy their single player stuff.
Okay.
And the fact that they might just be abandoning it makes me worried for these type of games with multiplayer components in the future, just not even bothering to put a single player campaign in.
Yeah, it's a little concerning. I think the reason why we're talking about this is because of who has confirmed this or who has speculated on it. And it's all the major sites. Polygon has a source, Kotaku, IGN, the DualShockers, I forget, yep. GameSpot. All the major sites have come out and said, hey, guys, we have a source, and they want to stay anonymous because they like their job. And they're saying that campaign wasn't going well, and they looked at it and they scrapped it. And they looked at things like Fortnite, things like PUBG, and they're like, why not cash in on this train? My initial thoughts is, I'll be completely honest, I think this is what Call of Duty needs.
Okay.
It's not a popular opinion.
Yeah.
But I think if you're Activision, and I think a lot of people who are speaking down on this, I think have to realize, including myself, who I play the single player first.
Yep.
We're the minority here.
No, absolutely.
I think if Activision looked at how many people actually play the single player and actually complete it, they have the information we don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And though I'm a Call of Duty fan since Finest Hour, or Frontline, right? Finest Hour or Frontline? Someone tell me I'm wrong. What a Call of Duty fan.
I feel like it's Finest Hour. I think Frontline's Medal of Honor.
That is true. So with that said, being a big fan, playing it on PC and playing those stories, it's deteriorated. It's gone downhill. I mean, last year's story is great, but can we recall characters? I can't. I know the good guys win at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I think by chasing Battle Royale, I think a lot of people, I get it. It's Battle Royale is a fad. It is at its peak right now. There will be a time where it falls off. There will be a time where Fortnite isn't having an update every week. I get it. There will be a time where Drake comes on this podcast and doesn't play Fortnite. I get it.
Yeah.
With that said, though, we got to be open-minded. We don't know what it looks like. And I think
that's very true.
Judging it right now, I don't think it does that. I don't think it's the smartest thing, because this could be wrong after all.
I mean, we have a couple weeks. I think May 14th is the reveal.
Yeah, May 14th or I think 17th.
So we're getting close. Yeah, we're getting close to finally seeing what it will look like. Mm-hmm. The Battle Royale concerns me a bit because it feels like everyone and their mother are putting a Battle Royale mode into their game. Right. So that makes me worried. I don't want it to be oversaturated, which it's getting dangerously close to getting.
Yeah.
I just hope they make the right decisions with it.
Yeah, same here. And that's all we could really hope for. Now, with that said, Mr. Moody has a question for us. And first off, I gotta say this. This is part of viewer mail right now. I need to draw a line in viewer mail. If you're asking us about the PlayStation 5, several of you guys are, don't do it. And if I see PS5, not even gonna answer it. Mm-hmm. Don't do it, because why? We have to hold that. We have to hold that gold nugget, right? Yeah. I appreciate the thought and I appreciate the question, but we got to hold on to that gold nugget, because if we're week in, week out for 2 years talking about this thing and what it could have, this show's gonna get real boring real fast. So hold on to those questions when the PlayStation 5 gets close. Guess what, guys? It's not coming close yet. So with that said, Moody asks a fantastic question. Is also a patron over at patreon.com/makeusbetter. And he asks, with the rumors of COD and Battlefield 5, which there are rumors, of implementing a Battle Royale mode, is the Battle Royale concept already getting oversaturated? And I think you answered this a little bit. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, definitely, yes. Hearing that Battlefield 5 is also a rumor to have a Battle Royale mode with them both releasing fairly close to each other, that's like way too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I look. I think people are going to come in. They're going to give it a shot, and some may stand, some may lose. But it's not necessarily you chasing, the golden goose, right? To me, it's more. I mean, it is that they see that's making money, they want to pile in. But to me, it's also, who cares if there's more people? That means more competition. That means someone's going to do it right. Like, look, PUBG was amazing. It still is a great game.
Yeah.
Fortnite has put it even bigger, and people prefer that way to play. People like the building aspect, it seems, and so to me, things like Fortnite kind of prove that, hey, no, actually other people could come in, and as long as they have good ideas, and as long as those ideas are accepted, go for it. Like, to me,
Yeah.
I would love to see the Division do it. I would love to see you dropping in the black zone, dark zone rather, and like, that would be amazing. But again, that would be awesome. Are we going to criticize that? No,
I think they all need to find that one thing that, like, Fortnite has building. They need to find that one thing that kind of makes them stand out a little bit. And if they find something that works, then they've got a hit on their hands.
Yeah.
Because inherently, Battle Royale is a great idea, and it's a fun mode.
Yeah.
You against the world, try to survive as much as possible, or for as long as possible.
And to me, I think when it comes to, a lot of people are asking the question, like, why then even do Black Ops? Like, why not just make a new Call of Duty, or just simply Call of Duty Battle Royale? And it's because, first off, look who's making it. Treyarch. Treyarch is now the premier Call of Duty dev. They are looked upon by the community now being the best creator of COD. With that said, too, Black Ops is known for being a quality series. Black Ops is now the flagship series. So when you're putting, a brand to something, people are going to look at that more. Sequels sell better than first attempts.
Yeah.
So I think by stamping a 4 to this game, it only benefits it. Only more eyes are looking at it. So with that said, though, that's all I got. And I'm out of stuff here, Kyle.
Well, real quick, Joe, because you asked this question on our last attempt at a recording.
Sure.
What kind of Battle Royale game would you want to see?
Definitely the Division. Definitely.
That's right. You said the Division.
Yeah. What would you like to see, Kyle?
I want a Hunger Games Battle Royale game. Strictly on the Hunger Games license, where it acts like the game, where different parts of the map, much like the bombing in PUBG but like different sectors will have traps go off at certain times, if you're streaming on Twitch, the people who are watching can actually send in favors for your character. Cool. Like something like that, because I would play the shit out of that. I love Hunger Games.
Add a Jackbox element. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah. All right.
So that's what I would want.
You know what? Our second attempts are better than our first.
Absolutely.
Especially when the internet's right, Kyle.
Yeah.
Like it's Kaitos. Like, God, what a great episode we had, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, please put it in the description or link down below. Whatever the case, however you get in contact, like you can at PS The Trophy Room on Twitter. Please make sure you follow us. You do what you need to do, because there on Twitter we do have a other contest going on that gives you a chance to win Detroit Become Human. And all you have to do is follow us and then like and retweet the pinned comment on our Twitter page. And guess what? You're in it to win it. Now, Kyle, as I buy time, because I do want to give a shout out to one of our listeners,
sure.
Kyle, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me over at WhoDatNinja73 on Twitter, on PSN. Send me a friend request. That'd be awesome. You can find my show about the Kind of Funny community at Best Friends Talk Funny on YouTube. It is on iTunes, same name, Best Friends Talk Funny. Pretty soon I'll have Joe's episode where he was on with me up, so you can listen to it there, or you can follow that show on Twitter at BFS Talk Funny.
Yeah, buddy. I also want to mention one thing before we leave. I put out a tweet talking about God of War, and I got Cory Barlog to like it. I got the studio Santa Monica themselves to like it, and I gotta say I'm on cloud 9 right now.
That's awesome.
And I want to give a shout out. Here it is to our good old buddy Brent. He sent us his collector's edition of the game, and holy crap, man, it's so awesome. We're sharing we're sharing the collector's edition back and forth, and he showed off the ring, and I was just like, "Welcome to the family, friend." You see Kratos with the God of War controller. Man, what a game! What a community we're building here. I'm so excited. We also have our buddy Eric as well. Hertz, I think I pronounced that right, showing off his God of War collection as well. Had a nice filter over it as well. That statue is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So again, follow us on Twitter at PS Trophy Room, or follow me at Mr. Badbit. You can find this show on YouTube under the Badbit Games banner, so go check us out there. You can check us out here and rate us 5 stars on iTunes. Please do rate us on Google Play. I don't know how many. Is it stars? Is it points? I don't know. Just do it. And follow us on SoundCloud. Please, please, please. It helps us out. We're growing our numbers there too. It's so awesome to see. It's great to see. I'm starting to see people spread out and finding the ecosystem they like the most. It's awesome, and that's why we do things like buy SoundCloud space and all that jazz. Give you guys an opportunity to listen in on any platform you do. So, with all that said, Kyle, you have anything you want to? You're already done, right?
Yeah. I'm good. Where can they find you, Joe?
At Mr. Badbit on Twitter.
Oh, sweet. There you go.
But more importantly, follow us on the Trophy Room. Anyway, with all that said, keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation.